TLC Brotherhood of Thailand, Laos, Cambodian Brotherhood, their families and friends, and welcome all of you to Minnesota. Welcome to our capital city of St. Paul, one of the oldest cities in our state, trusted for her compassion, her welcomeness to all walks of life, including refugees and immigrants. And this is why St. Paul is home for the largest Hmong American community in our grand USA. It also makes sense to say that St. Paul is our Hmong capital city in the Western Hemisphere. So welcome everyone again. I thank you to the TLC Brotherhood organization for choosing our wonderful city to your 2023 reunion celebration. I have lived in this city for 32 years, and as Professor Lee Powell mentioned, I lived 10 years prior in the state of Kansas. I was born in 1965 in the secret airfield Long Chang, left Laos and Thailand at the age of 11 during the secret war, and my father is one of your colleagues of that time. If you pass through Long Chang or the Wat Thai airport, our assignment passed through there between 1965 to 1973 and had dealing with logistic or humanitarian cargoes associated with Air America. You probably likely to have dealt with my dad, so my dad Che He is here too. Che and my father Major Chai, can you stand up? Yeah. And I'm honored and proud to be here as your keynote speaker, and I thank Professor Lee Pao Shang for the recommendation. As you know, typical politicians tend to be lengthy in their speeches. I, on the other hand, are quite brief in my filibuster. The average speech that I make in the state senate or even publicly, I time it up. It's usually around 7 minutes long. And so, Professor Lee Powell said, you had 20 minutes, so bear with me. I'll try to improvise and try to stretch through that 20 minutes as much as I can. So I want to tell you how I heard about the TLC Brotherhood for the first time, when and how I got to know some of your members. Although it may seem like this is the first time that I met many of you as member of TLC Brotherhood, I have known of the purpose and goal for a very long time. As a child growing up in the midst of secret war in Laos, and a son of SU major assigned to Air America, I should have been a member a while ago, but my procrastination prolonged my involvement until now. First time that I heard about the TLC Brotherhood was when I was doing a graduate school research back in the year 2000. And I was producing a short video clip of 3 minutes long of a rescue mission portraying a couple of Hmong Highlanders carrying an injured pilot to a huge helicopter. And one significant component of that video clip is the audio narration. I want to have a radio communication to be authentic, the script to be authentic and also understandable by an average English speaker. So I was on a mission to find someone to help me. So I make random calls to the Ravens. I make random calls to the Air America. I just, look online and said Ravens, so I just picked those number, call. I called the US Air Force and a few other groups that are associated with the secret war. So I was lucky enough to be in contact with a fella, with a retired Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Kirkpatrick of US Air Force. And I talked to John earlier, he recognized, I don't know whether he was a member, but at that time when I talked to him, he was from Georgia. Yes. He said that they were forming a group that if the group had existed, then I don't need to call each group, I just call the TLC Brotherhood and they will help me, so. But he worked with me and we were able to complete the project very successfully. I have exceptional grade and at the same time received a master's degree from Rochester Institute of Technology. So that's the first time that I heard about the TLC Brotherhood. And I was pleased to also credit him as advisor of the video clip as well. It's been 23 years already since I completed a video clip. It might still be online on YouTube called Rescue Lima Site 2. So if you Google, you can check it out and tell me what you think. It's a while back. And to my knowledge, Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Kirkpatrick passed away in 2004. And I regret never meeting him in person, but we have communicated over email and phone conversation, and I'm glad that he was able to help me near the end of his life to finish this video. In addition to Lieutenant Colonel Kirkpatrick, I also got to know and befriend some TLC members or supporters of the TLC, like Mr. Lionel Rosenblatt. I said almost every Hmong person know who Lionel is. If you don't know, they need to be more in tune into our development. Lionel is very instrumental in the Hmong resettlement and our progress here in America. So thank him for that. And with no dispute, the survival of the TLC Brotherhood and the Hmong SGU families are inseparable. We bond together. Mentioning or recognizing any members of TLC Brotherhood would lead to many collected stories that connect everyone together. However, I'd like to mention one other person in particular, and that's our dear friend, Mac Thompson. Mac, as we all know him to be humble and giving lots of time helping others, worked hard to represent the TLC Brotherhood. Though he passed away in 2018, his spirit lives on in many of us. When he was here in 2015, my brother and I had an opportunity to get reacquainted with him over steak and egg dinners. The reason I brought up Mac is because at one point he worked for USAID and often passed through Vientiane Bat Thai Airport, and where my father, Major Chai Hu, worked as liaison officer to General Vang Pao, overseeing flight logistics and humanitarian cargo. As I mentioned earlier, if you have passed through Bat Thai Airport, you might already cross paths with my father. And my father and Mac worked together, and it was not seldom as a child that I heard my father utter the name Mac Thompson. I can't identify what that is, but I keep hearing Mac Thompson in the background as we have a conversation. And sometime I'll see my father and Mac walk together at the airport, and I don't know the level of friendship they had, but I do remember Mac stopped by in our house in Vientiane at one point. Unfortunately, I couldn't speak English to him because my father sent me to a French school at that time, so parlez-vous français, and Mac understood that. And we all know Mac collected large or endless of pictures during the Secret War in Laos. And to anyone's surprise, to my surprise, he also had pictures of my parents in their younger days, and several of my family uncles and cousin in Ban Zuang. So at one point during my childhood, I thought Mac was one of my relatives, just that happened to be a little taller than the rest. So I really appreciate and forever appreciate the servicemen and women like our dear friend Mac Thompson, who came to Thailand, to Laos, Cambodia, on a call duty, but give much more to shape the life of people in diaspora, and furthermore documented their history, our history, my history, so that we can look back to the starting point that led us here, to our destiny in America. For 48 years, like many Hmong Americans of my generation, we have looked for answer from our past to understand ourselves. And lo and behold, we have the TLC Brotherhood, the Thailand, Laos, Cambodian Brotherhood, as our inspiring revelation. My experience with the few TLC Brotherhood, especially Mac and Kirkpatrick, has been very much alike. Their worldviews, character, mission for peace are very much the same. That's why I brought them up as examples. We all know the relationship between the Hmong and the TLC brotherhoods. The missions of hundreds Hmong SGU and our tribesmen sacrificed just to save one American, and the contribution of TLC brotherhood in helping Hmong out of Laos and other refugees to safety after the fall of Saigon. This is inseparable. And one thing that I find it interesting is the unification of ideas among the TLC brotherhoods, as I witnessed here tonight as well. Whether it is Mr. Colonel Kirkpatrick, Mac Thompson, Lionel Rosenblatt, our current leaders like Mr. John Sweet, Jerry Fraser, Bill Tilton, they all amplify the same positive demeanor, the love of a country, the courage to protect freedom, the compassion for others, and that's who you are. TLC brothers and families, you are all destined to be part of Thailand, Laos, and Cambodian brotherhood. It's not only for yourself, but to honor your fallen brothers who do not return and keep the memory of their sacrifice alive. You honor that code gracefully. And TLC brotherhood, you are one of a kind. People of this country have turned their back on you. More tormented it must be to have been ignored due to your oath of secrecy. But you yourself have never turned your back on anyone. You serve your duty well with the utmost respect and give plenty more out of your own will, or your own goodwill to society after your years of service to this country. You went on to shape people's lives, whether it's here or abroad. You sacrificed beyond the call of duty for the United States more than anyone realized. You are what true heroic brotherhood is about. For you are made with courage, strength, honesty, and compassion. You hold true to the honor of virtuous brother keeper. And for sure, the spirit of those who did not make it back had long been at peace because of what you have done. You, the TLC brotherhood, and our Hmong SGU elders are our greatest generation. Fear not the fading of your legacy as TLC brotherhood. For I say in metaphor that your adopted Hmong children have reached the point of maturity and advancement in this modern day. And I remember a fellow Air America has said to the Hmong community that as long as we keep the Hmong community in America thriving, our legacy will never be forgotten. So thank you for being here, and may God bless our course in due time, and may God bless all of you, wherever you will be, and God bless the TLC Brotherhood, and God bless America. And hope to see you again here in Minnesota next time.